All right, it is 7 o'clock and I am starting the regular council meeting for the Township of Nipigon, Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. Calling us to order here. We will start with our land acknowledgement as always. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Corporation of the Township of Nipigon respectfully acknowledges it is located on the traditional lands of the Red Rock Indian Band, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850, and the township further respectfully acknowledges the historic presence of other signatories on these lands. So I just want to acknowledge that Councillor Harper is present. He's not physically present here, but he's away and is joining us through our Zoom. So he will unmute himself if he has anything to add to our meeting this evening. Okay, are there any addendum to the agenda tonight?
No.
Nope. All right, moving on to item number 2, disclosure of pecuniary interest. Does anyone have any declarations of pecuniary interest tonight?
No.
Nope. All right, so item number 3, approval of previous council minutes, March 24th, 2026. Does anyone have any additions, deletions, any comments or anything on those minutes before we approve them? No, okay. All right, so we have a resolution here. Who would like to move approval of the minutes? Councillor Hart, who would like to second? Councillor Cartwright. Okay, resolution 2026-069, moved by Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Cartwright. Be it resolved that this council approves the regular meeting minutes of March 24th, 2026 as presented. All in favor? I'm just gonna assume that you're in favor, okay, Greg? And then opposed? And carried. Okay, the next item is item number 4, finance. So we did have this draft minutes from our April 7th, 2026 Finance and Budget Committee meeting. Does anyone would you like to say anything, CAO, before we?
If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. On the sort of final operating and capital budgets, we are waiting to negotiate our collective agreement with the union. We have a tentative date scheduled for the 3rd week of May. It's difficult to proceed with the operating budget until we've settled that collective agreement because it determines a large portion of our operating costs. So working with and through the committee, we're revising the capital budget and trying to get that sort of nailed down. And the operating side is mostly settled. There's been draft budgets that have been approved by this council. Previously, there are very sort of minor changes, and we're just awaiting that settlement so we can input all of our personnel costs. The other item I'll add, just because this has been of interest to council, tentatively scheduled for our next council meeting, we'll have our 2022 audited financial statements presented by the auditors. So you'll be able to examine those statements, ask questions of the auditors, and importantly, we'll be able to put it behind us and move on to the 2023s and 2024s.
Just to remind everyone, when we got onto council at the end of 2022, we were inherited a situation where our audited financial statements for 2020 were not done yet. We were behind by a couple of years at that point. So we're still trying to play catch up as much as possible. And the issues which we won't go into now because they're moot point, we're just dealing with it. And Tim's been working really hard with Sam and the auditors to get this moving forward because we can't do things. We have to do things, we can't do them concurrently, is what I'm trying to say, right? Like we have to do them in order.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get caught up. Yeah.
And we have some assurances, from Sam that going forward, the 2023, 2024, and of course now 2025, the statements will not be as difficult for us to reconcile internally. We had issues with duplicate entries in the accounting software that were complicated to patch and haven't sort of make sense for the auditors. I think 2022 was the last of those, that sort of difficult period, so really working with staff and with the auditors to try to speed up this process. I would like to have, you know, the next set of statements done in a couple of months and have us more or less caught up by the end of the calendar year is the goal, because as council knows, the release of provincial grants through the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund and OSIF is held up until we complete our statements. So every time we complete our statements, funds get released. And that replenishes our capital budget or reserves. And so we do that going forward.
Very important stuff.
Yeah, so. One thing,
Yep, Counselor Rustever?
yeah, I see we're postponing the purchase of a new garbage truck.
Yes, so in discussions with Public Works Superintendent Haskell, given the cost of the used packer we purchased at the end of last year, you know, the higher than anticipated repair costs, the repair cost of a new hydraulic pump recently, we hope that the packer will last through the 2026 calendar year. And the lead times on a new packer, which is likely what we're looking at, aren't particularly long. In the case of the fire rescue truck, where I'm waiting to hear back, you know, from staff in the fire department on exactly what those lead times are. But partly it's to prioritize the rescue truck now so that we can at least get in line. And then hopefully we can replace the current mini pumper rescue truck before it becomes inoperable. And
Did we have a quote to repair it to last to for?
well, the issue, as I understand it, in discussions with the fire department staff, is that much of the wiring in the mini pumper rescue is sort of what's failing. And so it's getting complicated to troubleshoot, complicated to fix. You know, mechanically, it's not especially unsound, but with the wiring, you know, kind of falling apart and rotting, it's prohibitively expensive. And, you know, the cost, we've sort of worked with the fire department to move toward just a rescue truck. This way we can respond to auto accidents with a rescue and a fire truck, which makes us sort of better equipped to handle those emergencies. It also increases the revenue we receive from the MTO and our payments. And it greatly reduces the rolling stock costs of getting another mini pumper / rescue. Because those are roughly 2 to 3 times the price of a dedicated rescue truck.
Really?
So it's sort of strategically prioritizing the rescue component of that existing truck. Because it's a much lower price tag. And it addresses the fact that, you know, the current one is. Although it's operable now, we don't know for how much longer it will be, and it would be nice.
Yeah.
If we replaced one of our vehicles before it completely broke down, so.
Okay, thank you.
One more thing I'd like to note, because even though these are draft, minutes, we do have a resolution from within these minutes. So item number 4, if you guys wanna go to item number 4 on the minutes. So we reviewed a quote from the Silver Club to have 3 new sliding dual pane windows installed at the Silver Club for an estimated cost of $4,372.11. And they did offer to pay for 50%
Oh, wow.
of their funds.
Wow.
So our committee, which is myself, CEO and Counselor Harper, recommended that we go ahead with that.
Really?
So no matter what the future holds, long-term, medium-term, whatever, it's still an asset of the township, and taking care of
Yep.
that asset with 50% from the Silver Club is a pretty good deal, I think, so. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great price too.
Yeah, it's a local company too, so.
My sister just had a partridge fly into window, $5,000.
Yeah, windows are expensive for sure. Installation, and everything. Okay, so any other questions about the budget minutes at this point? Okay. All right, so we'll go to the resolution here. So we have resolution 2026-070. This is for the Silver Club windows. Who would like to move this one? Counselor Westhaver, and who would like to second? Counselor Hart? Okay, resolution 2026-070, moved by Counselor Westaver, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved that this council approves financing 50% of the costs associated with the installation of 3 new sliding dual pane windows at the Silver Club at an estimated total cost of $4,372.11. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. I think that's what I'm putting on. There's a few files here. Okay. All right, item number 5, we have council business and administration, so we have our CAO's report. So maybe you can just quickly summarize that for us.
Sure, happy to. So you have a short report from myself concerning the golf course and the problem of nuisance skis. As you know, we lease the golf course to the North Shore Golf Club. They've been dealing with what I understand is a pretty severe problem of nuisance geese for a few years. They've tried in the past various sort of non-lethal interventions, coyote silhouettes and dogs. None of them have proved effective in the long term. It's hindering their operations, both kind of on a functional side, but also in terms of meeting health requirements with the mess the geese leave behind. So members of the golf club have applied for a special permit for wildlife management. That permit is attached in the agenda package in redacted form. You also have a letter from the golf club kind of explaining what they've done in the past, why they feel this is necessary. The issue for the golf club is that the town's firearms discharge bylaw does not allow firearms to be discharged within township limits, with generally a good reason. That bylaw is quite dated. It was last revised in 1994. Many municipalities now have included exemptions in their discharge bylaws that allow federally or provincially authorized wildlife management to occur. So the proposed bylaw you have in front of you introduces such an exemption meant to be applied, in this case, to the North Shore Golf Club. It allows the municipality to maintain its discharge bylaw in place and then allow for federally or provincially sanctioned wildlife control techniques, subject to sort of township imposed controls. And I've listed some of which we would look to impose, through a written authorization, proof of the license, of course, proof of firearms licensing, defined areas of operation, restrictions on timing, notifying the OPP, and a liability waiver, which I've written and developed. We do have members of the golf club here who can answer questions you might have about how it's going to be implemented or how it's going to work in practice. But that's sort of the genesis of the bylaw that you have in front of you to consider.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for either CAO or the golf club members? Counselor Hart, go ahead.
I do too.
The birds that you take out. What is gonna be done with them? Are they destroyed or are they going to be put into?
In that permit, they're going to be disposed of in the landfill. Having said that, they'll be disposed in a very safe manner, double bagged, all this kind of stuff. So that, and then put it.
Yeah, that was kind of my question too. It said there was a suggestion just to leave them on the golf course to deter other geese from landing.
That's part of the guidelines that are given by wildlife. But from our perspective, we don't feel that that's self-serving. Won't happen.
No.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen
No.
because, so no, any birds that are dispatched will be double bagged and put in the landfill. As per any requirements that you need.
Yeah, plus it wouldn't be too inviting for people that are guests there to walk around dead birds while they're golfing.
Not gonna happen.
Thank you. Okay,
This is, I don't even know if this is possible, but this is just a thought that I had in my head, is like, there any way to like would the meat, like be okay to donate like to elders or something like that, or like people that are doing like bear baiting or something, just so they don't,
Well,
That's kind of what
the
I was.
garbage thing, like, I'm not like.
no,
doesn't-
appreciate that. We,
Yeah.
actually, that was part of our discussions
Mhm.
with the president and Doug and myself. The only problem with that is, you know, the main reason we want this all done is a health and safety issue.
Mhm.
That's the key issue that we're dealing with. So why would we then be in a position where, you know, we,
Libel.
I'll just libel and or the permit says certain things you could do with them.
Okay,
You can't gift them, you can't do this, you
Okay.
can't do that, right?
they have to be put in the landfill.
That's right. They have to be put in
Okay.
the landfill, it's part of the report.
Yep.
But good, excellent question, and it was definitely talked about it,
Mhm.
and we thought about it all, but when you read all the fine print and the permit application, and everything, it tells you what you have to do. So,
That's
Yeah.
usually the way those permits go, fortunately.
Counselor, oh, just a
No, I
second.
didn't.
It's okay.
She had-
Yeah,
Do you have a question?
No.
We just.
Doing one of these.
Okay.
Counselor Cartwright?
Do you have designated shooters already and what's the vetting process?
That's correct,
Process.
the persons that are identified, actually, there's 3 people that are identified in the permit that will be doing it. And one's a groundkeeper, one is Doug, and then there's another member of the board.
And what kind of
Okay.
firearms are we talking?
12 gauge shotgun, and the reason we're using 12 gauge shotgun is because in 60 yards,
Is my house.
just-
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And, yeah. So, but again, we've got discharge of fire protocols being drafted up as we speak. They're not finished yet because we don't know exactly what the bylaw reads, right? Because we're gonna incorporate your requests in the actual policy, discharge of fire policy. As far as, and then the other thing we're gonna do is, the permit has 2 things, it's discharge of fire to scare and discharge to kill the scare, right? So that's just discharge of fire to scare, we're not gonna be using a shotgun, we're gonna be using bear bangers. You know, so, you know, you're not gonna have somebody, you know, out there with a shotgun, whatever, right?
Like Yosemite Sam?
Yeah, so the reality is there's been a lot of, you know, input and again, safety is our priority. You know, we're gonna have lookouts, we're gonna have to. Anytime we, you know, have to cull geese, it'll be done early in the morning. And the golf course will be closed to the public.
And this will be specifically for geese, like you
That's
can't, it won't transfer on if for nuisance dogs or,
No,
Okay.
strictly wild, geese, strictly out loose.
Okay.
Okay,
Counselor Hart,
What kind of shot is going to be used?
well, it's gonna be a goose shot, like, it's gonna be.
Yeah, but you get the lead versus.
No, it'll be
or steel or something.
Tungstens.
Yeah, so, yeah, again, good question, we looked into all that, and it's, we'll certainly be following.
There'll be someone at the gate, posted at the gate
Mhm.
early in the morning to make sure nobody comes on the property.
Yeah.
And we're only allowed to shoot 2,
oh, okay.
so.
Have they tried bear bangers? And don't work?
Years ago, we tried bear bangers. They just fly away for a little bit and they come back.
Yeah,
We
same
tried
with
dogs.
dogs on the field at
Yeah.
there's always dogs on the community field here. They fly away and then they come back. Yeah, they're back again.
I ran the Musselwhite Airport and a lot of times in the morning, they were along the runway, so you couldn't have that. And we used bear bangers and then had the security truck after they flew away, just keep driving up and down and so they didn't come back, but I don't know if there's a more humane way to do it, like something like that, because we didn't have to really kill them.
They've been trying,
No,
that's in the report there, the coyote, like we've seen those
Silhouette.
silhouettes of the coyotes and everything, the bear bangers and everything, and it's just,
Oh,
doesn't work, so.
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work. So I have confidence that you guys are gonna do this properly. I don't know if you guys know, but, Bob here is a former OPP officer, so he obviously has, experience with firearms and safety and everything, and the president of the golf club is, the head of the MNR here, so,
Yeah.
You got some really good experience and knowledge there. That's, it's not like I said, Yosemite Sam going
No.
around garments, right? And the girls, I know the girls, these are our student counselors, by the way. This is Sasha and Peyton. Do you guys have any questions or comments? I know you guys use the golf course quite a bit, and I know from personal experience, Sasha just
Yeah.
spent a whole lot of money on some new clubs and everything, so what do you guys think about this idea?
Yeah, like last year there was tons, and I know I don't remember if it was like either the end or the beginning of the year. There was a lot of like poop on the course,
Mhm.
which mixed with like rain too, made it kind of
You don't know where to step.
yeah.
So it ruined your hole in one, eh?
Oh yeah,
Ruins the experience, right?
And that can cause all kinds of infections.
Yeah, the pools that.
Besides it being gross, yeah.
Gross, yeah.
Okay, any other comments before we go to the resolution here?
Sure, people come to the golf course, so we're losing out on revenue, because who wants to go there with, you know, all that stuff around? Get into your car, to your house.
Yeah.
You know, so we're down because of.
Yep. And I know that happens at beaches and things
Yeah.
like that where, like Boulevard Lake, for instance,
Yeah.
Chippewa,
Yeah.
where they don't, people just don't go there anymore because it's full of poo, so.
Yeah.
We don't want that to happen to our golf course. Okay. All right, so, we have our, resolution here for the, that's the only thing in your report, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, we have the resolution to receive the CAO's report, and then we'll have the resolution for the bylaw. So we'll start off with the report, to accept the report. Who would like to move this? Counselor Cartwright. Greg, you can move things too, you just have to be quick. Or second. Okay, this is
Okay,
seconded by.
I'll second it.
You're gonna second this one? Okay, seconded by Counselor Harper. We have to have proof that you were here.
Yes.
Okay, so this is resolution 2026-071, moved by Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Harper. Be it resolved that this council receives CAO administration report 2604-1401 for information. All in favor? Opposed
Put Zed, moved in all.
and carried.
If it ever comes to be, they should put his.
So, yeah, well, it'll be noted in the meetings or in the meeting minutes that he attended. All in favor, opposed and carried. Okay. Next is the bylaws. So, I think we got all of our questions out here and comments. So, who would like to move, that we, approve this bylaw?
I'll move it.
Oh, yeah,
Or
okay.
second it, whatever.
You're too slow.
And now you're just all over it. Okay, well, we'll have, Counselor Harper move and then we'll have, Counselor Hart second, if that's okay. So this is resolution 2026-072, moved by Counselor Harper, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved that this council gives 3 readings and approves bylaw 2024, a bylaw to amend bylaw number 1367 as amended to permit certain, exemptions from for the discharge of firearms for wildlife control purposes. And that council directs staff to develop the standard authorization process and conditions for such activities on municipal lands. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Thank you. You guys can,
Thank you.
welcome to stay, but I know it's pretty hot in here. Thank you for coming and good luck with the golf season this year. I heard it was a big success last year, so. Great work.
The best greens and the North Shore.
I heard about that. Okay, thank you.
Very much, appreciate it.
All right, okay, next we have. Oop. I think we have 2 in here for the report, CO administration report.
And there's 2 reports.
Oh, there's 2 reports. Okay. Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
You're correct. Okay.
They were sufficiently unrelated, I thought.
Okay. So you
Well.
need to have 2. Okay, perfect. All right, so the next one here, sorry, I lost my way. I can't. Okay. Sorry. All right, here we go. We have a second report. Our CAO has been busy as a bee there. Second report. so this is in regards to authorizing alternate voting methods. All right, so do you wanna again give a
Yes.
brief
Sure.
summary?
Again, another short report, for myself. I know in autumn of last year, council resolved to direct staff, to investigate alternate voting methods for the upcoming 2026 municipal election. Namely, internet and telephone voting. Staff is doing that work. We've been kind of researching, looking at, vendors, what the options are, what the expected cost will be, how it could be integrated with paper ballots in the traditional form, how we maintain integrity of the voting process and leaving an audible trail and so on. While we do this work, however, we must meet a legislative deadline of at the end of this month. Council has to pass a bylaw that merely authorizes the use of alternate voting methods, telephone and internet for the upcoming election. It does not compel it. It's just a bylaw that has to be in place now, so if council, when they do receive a report from staff, elects to implement alternate voting methods, we have the legislative authority to do so. So the
Okay.
sort of bylaw you have in front of you just does that. It authorizes alternate voting methods and also traditional paper ballots for the upcoming election.
Okay, so we kind of already made this had this discussion, this is just to authorize them to.
Put it on the books.
Yeah.
Put it on the books, exactly.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions or?
Well, there's no, way of fraud, I guess that we might concern.
Well, that's why we hire
I don't know.
an outside.
What are the guardrails on it?
Well, we'll have a more fulsome discussion when you have a detailed report in front of you, but there are a couple of vendors that are used by municipalities of about our size. Mainly the internet and telephone voting systems are done through a mailed out pin, similar to what you would use for, Canada.
Like a mail-in ballot?
And then
Well,
you
they'll
have
mail you a
a
pin
okay.
and then you
Like a
can
PIN
call
number,
in and vote. And use your PIN number to access your vote. Once you voted, then the voter register list immediately gets updated that you have voted and you can't vote again.
Okay,
Where it gets a little more complicated from an operational perspective is integrating it with paper ballots. Many people prefer traditional paper ballots, probably in a community of this size, and of this demographic, because that's what they're accustomed to. And it's what they prefer for other reasons. And so, it's important to consider, can we have sort of the two systems working together so that we can enfranchise people that are unable to leave their homes, because of disabilities or because of weather or other reasons. And those community members that might not be here during the election period, but still want to have a say in how their community is governed. And so enfranchising those individuals while still keeping intact sort of the traditional voting method, for those that have grown accustomed to it.
Yeah, okay.
I wonder if it's a case where they can do online voting as like the early voting.
That's
Do
one
the
option.
online and
is
then after a week.
do
and then
advanced
then
polls.
that's it, so there's
Yeah.
time to update the voters list.
You can do advanced polls in some cases right up to the day before if
Mhm.
you want to, and then that updates the registry list. That does avoid the issue of having your online telephone, internet voting occurring on election day where
That would be.
you have to maintain a digital voters list at all of your 3 polling stations. And then you're also relying on the wireless gods to keep everything up and
Yeah.
running, which is a little more than I would like to leave to chance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So guarding against that possibility. A lot of communities our size, and maybe a little bit bigger actually, do opt for alternate voting only. They'll move to internet and telephone voting only. In part because it avoids
duplicate.
well, the
Potential.
operational kind of confusion and difficulty of running 2 systems simultaneously. And also importantly, it eliminates a manual counting of paper ballots. So if you're a municipality with 3,000 or 4,000 persons, you're probably looking at having to get tabulators.
Mhm.
So now you're paying for mechanical voting devices while also paying for a digital voting and counting device. And then the cost of the election gets more expensive than would be optimal. We're small enough in population that we can maintain manual ballot counting without we can accommodate that with existing staff resources and
Yep.
additional outlays.
Takes about an hour. I was at the last
Yeah.
count and it was about an hour to
Yeah, to kind of.
an hour and a half
Yeah.
maybe.
And we certainly don't need calculators, and so I don't think we face the financial pressures that, you know, a town of 5,000 persons might to
Mhm.
move towards alternate voting method, just because it speeds up the entire accounting
Yeah,
process.
I think for this one, it's more
Yeah.
for people that work out of town or like, or
Students, yeah.
students who are not, yeah.
Then we can implement the system, and then we can study how it was used, how people, found it, get feedback from the community. If there is desire in the future to move towards alternate voting only, that's something future councils can entertain and decide.
Mhm.
But for this one, at least currently, given the level of information that we have, staff and largely myself is focusing on alternate voting methods that can be integrated with a traditional paper ballot.
Yeah.
And probably using the alternate voting methods as advanced polling
Yeah,
methods.
I think that's the best.
I think it should be cut off at least 3 days beforehand so that they can update those lists, paper lists.
Right, and we had to, okay,
And then keep the paper voting because I think
Yeah.
everyone agrees that's the,
Most
probably
of
what the
us.
community would prefer to do. But
and then the preliminary costs of moving to an alternate voting. System for cars, with some of the vendors, for example, that Shunia and Red Rock use. It's gonna be between sort of $5,000 and $7,000 is the cost, which, is a manageable, election expense, I think, and worthwhile. I mean, I'll say this from my, my full report,
yeah,
tip my hand a little bit, I think it's worthwhile just because it does sort of further enfranchise. Community members that aren't able to attend a physical, polling station on the day of or in advance of it.
Okay,
all right.
good, yeah.
You girls like that? We're looking into email, or online voting.
Yeah,
Not
cause
old enough,
Jack
but yeah.
couldn't vote.
Yeah.
The other year,
That's right too, eh?
Yeah, well,
he
yeah,
was at school in Toronto.
that's true. For the federal election, yeah. Okay, there's a resolution here, to accept the report for information. And, so who would like to move this one? Counselor Cartwright, who would like to second? Counselor Westhaver.
Yeah.
Resolution 2026-073, moved by Counselor Cartwright, second by Counselor Westhaver. Be it resolved, this council receives CAO Administration Report 2604-1402 for information. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, so our next resolution would be to approve the bylaw to authorize the use of alternate voting methods and paper ballots for the 2026 municipal election. Who would like to move this one?
I'll move that one.
Oh,
Forget.
Counselor Harper, and then we'll second with Counselor Hart. That's okay? Always second, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Okay. Resolution 2026-074. I'm here all night, people. Moved by Greg Harper, seconded by Glenn Hart. Be it resolved that this council gives 3 readings and approves bylaw 2025, a bylaw to authorize the use of alternate voting methods and paper ballots for the 2026 municipal election. And that council directs staff to investigate voting method options, specifically internet, telephone, and hybrid models that also allow for traditional paper ballots, and to report back to council with recommendations and cost estimates. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay. All right, next we have some sundries. Oops, sorry.
One more item under, council business administration.
Oh, geez. Oh, sorry, yep. Sorry. Just because we don't have a resolution, I tend to sometimes lose over those things. Okay, so, let's move forward down here. So, in accordance with the Municipal Act, the treasurer of a municipality shall each on or before March 31st provide to the council of municipality an itemized statement of remuneration expenses paid in previous year to mayor and council. So what everyone sees here, this is for information for the public, is taxable annual remuneration for mayor and councilors. And then we have travel and other expenses. So no, I did not put my cruise on this, it's 2025, no. This is because I usually go to all of the conferences that we opt to participate in. That's why my expenses are a little bit higher there, and I think I'm budgeted for $10,000 for this. I don't know if it's been taken down lately, but
Yeah.
I've come in under budget. so
Yeah, way under.
Proud of that.
Way
And then, folks,
in your job.
folks might also, notice that, Counselor Cartwright's, remuneration's a little higher, and it's because you're on the police board. Is that correct? Yes, okay.
I'm sorry if I missed that.
She's on the police board, so her
Okay.
remuneration is a little bit higher, because there's an honorarium to be on the police board. And then, of course, the travel expenses would be for the conferences that others go to as well. Okay,
Yep,
looks good.
yeah, and that's on the website.
Yeah, this package is on the website, it is posted, yeah. That information's all posted on the website, out of the package, because it's, yeah. All right, so that was just for information there from 2025. Okay, next, we have sundries here, so we have, NOMA Board of Directors, regular meeting minutes, I'm just gonna go through these, and please stop me if anyone has any comments. And then we have the March 6th, 2026 NOMA response to Ontario's 2026 budget. Then we have the March 27th, 2026 correspondence Thunder Bay DSA program delivery presentations to municipal councils. And then we have D, April 1st, 2026 correspondence community history video partnership. Okay, so this also comes with a resolution, because there's a cost to that. So, does anyone have any questions or comments or concerns? I'm just scrolling through all these NOMA things here.
I don't think so. Pretty straightforward.
One. Okay. So this is a television, this is a radio podcast. Okay, this is a
Yeah.
podcast, Canadian History X.
Was going to, I give a little bit of information. So
Yeah.
Craig Barrett is probably described as a popular historian, who sort of developed a pretty strong social media following. I would say leading up to and during COVID. I'm familiar with his work sort of in academic circles and on what used to be Twitter, when it was still a worthwhile social media platform. And, he's proposing kind of a cross-country tour here of doing short kind of video partnerships. I did review the proposal with EDO Bell. Because it struck me as worthwhile, and EDO Bell also thought, given the price, the quality work of the individual in charge, that it, it doesn't duplicate things we're already doing. It's such a low cost that it seems like a no-brainer if you don't mind the phrase. So
Yeah, he has a far reach. I checked him out. He has a
Yeah.
pretty far reach. so.
yeah, and he's sort of, he'll read on social media and sort of, YouTube shorts where he'll just kind of, tell interesting stories about popular Canadian history in a way that is compelling. I think he does a good job with his narratives. And I think given the rich history of Nipigon, you could do a pretty good short video about the place, and it would be, appealing and of interest to, lots of Canadians. And so it's just another way to kind of get, the community out into the broader public, tell the story a little bit, engage. I think one of the better popular sort of historical storytellers that we have right now. And so I was happy to see the proposal, and I thought, council should seriously consider
Great.
endorsing it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments, girls? Okay, all right, so we have a resolution here. Who would like to move accepting or approving the participation in this project? Councilor Cartwright? Who would like to second? Okay, Councilor Westhaver. Resolution 2026-075, moved by Councilor Cartwright, seconded by Councilor Westhaver. Be it resolved that this council approves participation in the Community History Video Partnership Initiative at a cost of $500 and authorizes CAO to execute any required agreements. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay. Next, we have our Public Works reports, and we have Taylor on the line to present that to us.
Hey everyone.
Here she is. Hello, we hear ya.
All right, I'll kind of do the same thing, Suzanne. I'll go through item by item and take questions after each one. So the first topic is Water Pollution Control Plant Annual Report 2025. So staff have completed and submitted the Nipigon Water Pollution Control Plant Annual Report for 2025. The report was prepared for the amended Environmental Compliance Approval ECA 0707 AFJPS 7, issued January 24th, 2017, and Environmental Compliance Approval 233 W601, issued September 14th, 2023. This report is available for review free of charge during normal business hours at the municipal office located at 52 Front Street, Nipigon, Ontario. So if anyone has any questions about that.
About that one? Nope. No questions here. Okay, and item number 2, you were at the Good Roads Conference.
Yeah, so I attended the 2026 Good Roads Conference in Toronto, which focused on municipal infrastructure, transportation, and governance. So some key takeaways with direct relevance to the Township of Nipigon are outlined below. So they talked a lot about the Northern Ontario Transportation Network, Highways 11 and 17, and how they continue to be critical corridors in Northwestern Ontario, but remain largely two-lane with highway truck volumes and collision rates. Proposed improvements such as 2+1 configurations and selective twinning were discussed as key in enhancing safety and supporting economic activity. This remains a priority area for continued municipal advocacy. So it was nice to see that. Infrastructure financing and asset management. So we had some discussions about a potential municipal bond system in Ontario, which could provide new financing tools. Though this is still subject to provincial support, emphasis was also placed on aligning capital projects with asset management plans to strengthen funding applications. This reinforces the importance of maintaining a strong asset management framework and monitoring new financing opportunities. I also attended a session about modern procurement practices, and there's a shift towards more collaborative procurement models, including early contractor involvement and product pre-qualification. These approaches can reduce project risk, improve cost control, and lead to better project outcomes. So this presents an opportunity to review and potentially modernize some of our procurement practices. And then another highlight was talking about training as risk management. So training was identified as a key component of risk mitigation, helping reduce incidents, liability, and regulatory non-compliance. Staff plan to explore opportunities for public works focused training to further support safe operations and reduce organizational risk. So the overall takeaway from the conference is that infrastructure delivery is becoming more complex, requiring stronger planning, risk management, and advocacy, and a continued focus on transportation advocacy, asset management, and procurement improvements and staff training will support effective municipal operations.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions on that for Taylor? Sounds like it was a good conference.
It was a good time, and as always, I get to connect with Jeff there.
Yeah.
So he's always a good support to me. So yeah, it was nice to see him.
Good.
So do you want me to read through my recommendation? I will, and then you kind of will repeat it in the resolution. But so yeah, my recommendation is that council receive the Public Works Superintendent Report 2604-1402 for information, and Public Works Superintendent recommends that council acknowledge receipt of the 2025 annual report for the Water Pollution Control Plant, and that staff continue to monitor and incorporate relevant best practices related to transportation advocacy, asset management, procurement, and staff training into municipal operations.
Okay. All right, who would like to move PWS's report?
Oh, move that.
And her recommendation, of course. Councillor Westhaver, who would like to second? Councillor Hart? All right, resolution 2026-076, moved by Councillor Westhaver, seconded by Councillor Hart. Be it resolved that this council receives PWS Administrative Report 26041402 for information, and that this council receives, acknowledges, and accepts the 2025 annual report for the Water Pollution Control Plant. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, thank you, Taylor.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, item number 8, we have our recreation minutes from March 9th. So there, that does come with, a resolution. Oops, sorry, I have to get through the water thing here. Okay. And, so our recreation manager is not here this evening, but I was at the meeting, so I'm able to answer any questions if anyone has any. I won't read it all out, but everyone has it in the package here. Sounds like March break was a definitely a success. I believe, from my understanding, the pizza making was the most successful, which was great. NOHFC funding, everything's in progress. I just asked for a report on that side of things. So the pool siding's been ordered, toilets are being replaced, countertops purchased. The good thing is we're gonna have some time, I think, before we start swimming, that's all the indoor stuff can get done. A recreation plan, so I did put together sort of a template for us and the recreation manager to work from to get a plan going. I know that was something that Lars was interested in having, and just same thing as all our other plans, to have some sort of, roadmap, so we're not, year to year trying to figure out what we need to do, looking at, and we did do that inventory, which is great. That's gonna be part of the plan. So hopefully that's gonna get done in the next little while there. Now, Kristen did bring forward a shinny discipline policy. And in looking at other policies, I realized that a lot of places don't really have like a specific shinny policy, but they have a respectful public behavior policy. So instead of just covering one particular activity, something like this would cover
General.
all of the facilities that people are, using.
Yeah.
So, that's, instead of doing different things as things come up, right? So, so that's something we're gonna look at developing on. It was just in the resolution here, and everyone's in agreement. Okay, anything else? Anyone have any questions about what's in the minutes
That
here?
window that had a puck go through it. What happened?
Well, the broken window?
Yeah.
That's not my thing. What's happening with the broken
That's a good
window? Do you
question.
know? Does Taylor, Taylor's on the line. Do you know what's happening with the broken window, at the rec center?
I do not know what's happening there, but I can follow up on that.
Yeah. Maybe we can get an update from, would it be Kristen that's taking care of that, or would that be Taylor?
Very, very close.
Yeah, oh yeah, windows, as we know, windows are costly, right? Yeah,
So it probably flows through both.
yeah,
Okay.
okay. So maybe we could get an update on that, at the next.
There was a person too that witnessed it, so if you want more, if I can find that out or give you the name.
I have some information on the matter. I just don't know
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. I just don't want to speak out of.
No, we don't wanna say
Yeah.
any names, no, of course, but, sometimes. In the past, when someone has been responsible for instance, breaking a window or breaking something, they've had to pay for
Right.
at least some of it.
Sure.
So I think that should be kind of something that's carried on to this, in fairness, and
Okay.
yeah. Okay, girls, do you have anything to comment on in the recreation? You like the idea of a respectful public behavior policy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of always been really a problem, actually.
particularly with shinny, right?
Fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not following the rules and stuff like that, but I think we're going to be good. Okay. So we have a resolution here for that. To direct council to develop a policy. Who would like to move? Counselor Hart, who would like to second? No?
I will.
Counselor Hart. Counselor Harper,
Everybody.
we gotta keep you awake over there. Okay, resolution 2026-077, moved by Counselor Hart, second by Counselor Harper. Be it resolved that this council directs staff to develop a Township of Nippigan respectful public behavior policy. All in favor? Opposed and carried. All right, our economic development, draft minutes here. Our EDO was unable to make it tonight, but, we do have Counselor Hart and Counselor Cartwright, right? You're on the EDC as well. So if anyone has any questions, these are draft minutes, so we're not approving, we are approving, to receive them, not
Yeah.
approving, yeah, okay. Any questions or concerns on that? The vet clinic update is scheduled for June 6th and 7th, which is good to see. When is word going to be getting out on that? Do you know? Did you guys talk about when it's gonna be starting to get out in the news? Or in the
I think.
promotion, so people can start.
Yeah,
Didn't directly discuss that, but it was in the works.
Okay.
yeah, soon, soon.
People will have to pay or like pay attention, but they'll have to like plan, I mean, for bringing their animals if they wanna.
Yeah.
Get their shots for the summer done here instead of in Thunder Bay, or so they can get them at all.
If I may, we were, EO Bell indicated we're just waiting on a decision by one of our partners.
Okay.
And letting them make their decision, and once that decision's been made, then we'll know how to advertise it and do so accordingly.
Perfect, okay,
Should
thank you.
be tonight. That's
Yeah,
fine.
okay, perfect, okay. Okay.
The
Okay,
mini golf
anything else?
is en route.
What is en route?
The
The mini golf?
It's
Nice. Do you guys have any suggestions on where the mini golf? It's portable, so it doesn't have to be permanently set up anywhere. Any suggestions on where that could be set up in the summertime?
How big is it?
It's got 9 holes,
Nine
I think.
holes.
Pretty good size.
You think about that. You don't have to tell us right now, but just think about it if you have any
Next meeting.
suggestions for it, okay? That's your job for next meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
Draw plan.
Full report.
Yeah, full reports,
The only thing I-
pictures and
Give
diagrams.
me the template.
The only thing I can think of is like that where the old like Nippigan Inn used to be, like that big.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, on the corner
That's
there?
private
That's
property.
private property, unfortunately, so it would have to be on town property.
No.
Yeah,
Even-
so thoughts were like the tourist information center or
I mean,
Where we-
inside the marina, yeah.
someone gets, no.
We'll be consulting you guys on that, cause you guys are the big
Ask
golfers.
all your friends.
Yeah, where they would go, yeah. And it's also gonna be for tourists too, so think
It's
about that. as
primary
well.
draws for tourism.
Yeah. Okay, that being said, we're going to, we have a resolution here to receive the February 18th minutes of the EDC. Who would like to move this resolution?
I'll move that.
Counselor Westaver? Who would like to second? Counselor Hart? So resolution 2026-078 moved by Counselor Westaver, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved that this council receives the February 18th, 2026 Economic Development Committee meeting minutes, draft for information. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, so that concludes, our agenda for the, regular part of the meeting. We do not have closed session today, right?
No.
No closed session?
No close.
So, we'll just go around to any other business and we'll start with Counselor Cartwright.
No.
Have nothing, okay. Counselor Westaver, do you have anything?
No, the window thing was it.
The window thing?
Yeah, that was it.
Counselor Hart?
Nothing here.
Counselor Barber? Any comments? No?
No.
Okay. Tim, do you have anything? Taylor, do you have anything?
Greg.
Great.
Oh, Greg, sorry.
No, I don't have anything either.
Good, sorry. He
No
was
problem.
gesturing to the screen and I thought it was, I think Taylor covered everything she had to say, but. Okay, and Tim, you're good?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can't see you, Glenn.
Yeah, that's okay.
Great.
Um,
Was
all
my
right,
video
so
on?
yeah, any other business for me, NOMA, Northern Ontario Municipal Association conference is happening next week. I'm attending and Councillor Westhaver's attending, that's in Thunder Bay, and are you attending?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so CEO Cobbins attending as well, so that's gonna be a great, there's gonna be 12 ministers there, I hear, in the Bear Pit, so that's gonna be a good one to
We
go
have, I
to.
didn't see an agenda.
You can go, yeah, you can go online and get it.
Get it.
Yeah, just Google NOMA Conference
Yeah.
2026 and it comes up with the schedule, yeah.
Yeah,
I've had to look at it a few times. I do have something else. I know that we did have an audience with an individual who lives on Lofquist Lake, Nathan Monk, talking about the slake stalking. And so we went away from that and thinking about what he presented to us, doesn't agree with the stalking there, due to the population of the walleye. So I did have a conversation with Chris McGee at the MNR, who is the head of the MNR there, as well as Patty Westerman, who's in charge of these types of things. So just, I'm gonna give you guys just a quick brief report here on the information I gathered, because you were all here when Nathan was here and his package was presented. So in 2018, well, let's just start with it's been stocked with flake since the 70s.
yeah.
Okay, so at some point in the 1970s, it was identified as an appropriate point, as a prime opportunity for fishing, okay? Well, for stalking, not stalking the walleye, stalking the slake, okay?
Pretty much fair in that, those days.
Yeah,
Okay.
so anyways, so that it's been stocked since 1970, so, or into the 70s. In 2018, there were some concerns brought to the MNR by a landowner. And so as they listen to the landowner's information, and they stated they weren't sure if there was other people that were concerned about it or not, but they only heard from the one landowner. And so they had a concern about stalking on top of a walleye population that was there. So due to that concern, they did cease stalking in 2018. And their biologists did some studies there, and they do assessments on the lake. And they assess the lakes that they stock, and generally they wouldn't stock fish on top of an existing population if it causes adverse issues on natural fish. And so that was why there was the stalking, because there was a pause, because there was a concern. There was a small number of walleye in the lake, not significantly enough, just this is what their biologists found, there's not significantly enough walleye to stop stalking splake in the lake. So I would imagine that they over time, they started restocking again in 2024, 2025. So they stopped for 4 years and observed the walleye, and there was no difference in the walleye population from the time that they stopped to the time that they started again. So the walleye are very predatory. They are more predatory than the splake. This is not me saying it, this is the MNR, but they say the splake are not very smart. And they don't breed as well.
They're donkeys.
So they don't overtake, and then they, a lot of the fry, the
I
walleye,
don't read it all.
yeah, the walleye will eat the fry.
Yeah.
So it's actually could be understood that it's helpful for the walleye that are living there. So from a biological sense and from MNR policies, there were no issues, and they found that actually it was kind of helping the walleye. So it is being stocked again, as I said, with some small slate. And again, it's for the fishing, because it's a close proximity and easy to get to. Their stocking truck can get there easily, and the community can get there easily as well, like people in the community. So there were some folks that did catch wind that there was talk about pausing, that people wanted to stop the stalking. So the Red Rock Indian Band did contact them and say they do not support the pause. They want to continue with the stocking because they do bring, their families there for family day for ice fishing and things like that, and they do use it. And also, the schools use it as well for ice fishing, mostly for ice fishing events, right? So there, you know, there, people have different opinions about different things, but it sounds like from my conversation with the MNR, they did their due diligence, they did their studies, and from their observations and their data, it's not affecting the walleye. That being said, they're always interested in providing information. They said that they would come to a council meeting if we had any concerns. They said that they would attend, do some kind of a town hall meeting if there were concerns. So I have not heard any concerns from anybody on either side of the situation. I've not had anybody come to me and say they don't agree with the stocking. So I think I guess what I would leave it up to you guys to sort of, or to us and in this group to decide like what, I mean, we don't make any decisions. It would be strictly advocacy on our part if we decided to do anything or nothing at all. So, is there interest in having, a staff member come here and talk? Are you guys satisfied with the information, or like how, what do you guys?
I've always trusted the scientists.
Yeah.
Trust the science on this one? Yeah. Yeah, Councillor
I
Westberg?
definitely would, because if they're not, are they stocking just the slate?
Just like,
And no walleye?
No.
So the walleye die?
No.
Cause they don't breed, they don't.
the walleye? No, the
Walleye
flake don't breed.
Yeah, no, the walleye don't either, cause they need running water. But
No,
they
the
need-
walleye do their breed.
They would have to breed because they're not being stocked.
They'll breed on, sandy shoals.
There's still walleye there, but it's
But
just
but they're declined.
well, yeah, and their population didn't increase when the Slake were taken out for 4 to 5 years.
Well, they should.
Meaning that
They should have eggs every day, every year, correct?
but what the data is pointing out is that the stocking of the Slake had no effect on the population, which is what the concern was with the person who didn't want to see the stocking happen.
The thing, the lake itself has a limited food supply,
Yeah,
and the number one food will be walleye fry
that's right, that's.
or slake fry.
And the Slake are smarter and more predatory than the walleye the walleye are more smart and more predatory than the Slake, so they more often will
Eat the spray.
eat the Slake fry. So it's almost food for the walleye. Great, so,
It'd be kind of good to have some. I think.
They're just gonna come and tell us everything that
This is-
they've
yeah.
already told us in their report.
just so you know, there'd probably be no more information than what but if you have any other questions, they can answer them if you. Like, what else would you wanna know if they came here to talk about it? I'm not against having them come here, I just wanna make sure that they're not just regurgitating what I've.
Yeah, cause I was one of the first places that went in there to put the
Mhm.
walleye in there. And, I was under assumption it's been, so they've been, reproducing on their own.
Yeah.
And now that the slake are in there, the slake attack, I thought they were attacking the fly of the.
Yeah, but that's the point, is that they stopped it and they weren't. And the other thing too is that, from my understanding, the pickerel or the walleye are also an introduced species. Which you just said you stocked it.
Yeah.
Walleye, right, yeah. So, if there's any, maybe think about it. I don't know if anyone else is interested in having the MNR come here for a question and answer.
There's a few people that I know that are master's degrees in that and this stuff.
Mhm.
Go check with that. Yeah, I still have questions.
Okay,
I'm sure the people that live there can see some things wrong from what it used to be.
well, it's one person that lived there that's concerned about it. I personally haven't heard from anyone else that lives there, like the person who wrote the email.
Yeah.
As, from my understanding, has never lived there and lives in the US.
Well, they come here in summer. She comes here in summer.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anyway, that was just, it's not a done deal for me yet.
Okay. All right, so, or. I don't think it's anything that we vote on, but we might
No.
be interested then in having, an M and R representative come at some, maybe to the next meeting. To answer questions. I don't think they necessarily have to give a
No.
presentation, but, Counselor Westhaver has some additional questions.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And that is everything, but we have to do a resolution here, to give 3 readings, to confirm everything that has been done up to or prior to, April 14th. Who would like to move this? Resolution, Counselor Cartwright, who would like to second? Counselor Westhaver? Resolution 2026-079, moved by Counselor Cartwright, second by Counselor Westhaver. Be it resolved that this council gives 3 meetings and approves bylaw number 2026. Being bylaw to confirm the actions of the meetings held on and prior to April 14th, 2026. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And one more resolution to close the meeting. Oops, wait, there's more.
Oh,
This was just an extra one in
that's a
case.
spare.
That's a spare.
Spare.
Okay. Okay, so who would like to move the resolution to close the meeting tonight?
I will.
Oh, Counselor Harper, seconded by Counselor, was that a second? Or you were just waving? Okay, seconded by Counselor Harper.
second.
Resolution 2026-080, moved by Counselor Harper, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved that this council meeting adjourns at 8:06 PM. To meet on April 28th, 2026 for the next regular meeting or at the call of the mayor. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Thank you, everybody. Have a safe drive home. Go Jays, go.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.